The words rebuilding and suffering are getting thrown around the city a lot with, the Bills and Sabres, obviously. What is your philosophy of the Bandits this year? Is it rebuilding, or is it...
I'd like to say retooling.
Okay.
We made a lot of moves last year. They didn't pan out the way we thought. But we brought in some real good players this year. So I wouldn't say rebuild, I'd say retool.
What's got you most excited for this year?
I like the size coming on our back end. I think it's going to make our goalies' jobs a lot easier. And, Joe Reziteritz, Ryan Benesh will help out the offense. So I like the depth we've put out the back door, and I like the scoring that we've added to the front.
The Benesh deal, was that something you were actively pursuing, or did Minnesota come to you?
No, that was, something that Minnesota threw my way. A lot of thought went into it, especially with the new CBA and unrestricted free agency age dropping, the years that we're going to give up the picks. So we put a lot of thought behind it. And, you get first-round picks to hopefully get high-end offensive talent.
Sure.
And we gave up the picks to get a guy that we knew was a high-end offensive talent. So it was a risk we were willing to take.
The CBA's kind of slowed the offseason a little bit. Do you expect to make more moves once maybe some teams make some cuts or something?
No, I don't think so. I like the group we got here now. So if we can gel together, I think we'll be okay. But that being said, you never know anybody that gets dropped, and we'll have a look. I don't foresee anything happening, but you never know.
Going back to the summer with Darris's dismissal, was that something where it was being negotiated, or was it just that you decided to part ways with Darris?
It's something that when Scott and I reviewed the season as a whole, we looked at ways that we thought we could get better. Darris did a fantastic job, maybe the greatest coach that's ever coached in lacrosse. But sometimes you need to make a change.
Sure.
And it was nothing against Darris. And we started to put our list together. And then when Troy's name became available, he's another guy we just added to a list that I thought were all capable guys. But to bring in a guy that has been in Buffalo before, has played here, has been a coach here, and won Coach of the Year, it was a no-brainer for us.
Moving off of the hiring of Troy Cordingley. Cordingley kind of has a recent success from Calgary to Toronto of turning teams into immediate contenders with missing the playoffs last year. How do you expect him to make immediate impact?
Immediately. That's one of the reasons we brought Troy in, and that's exactly. He gets to Calgary in 1 year. I think they either made the Western Final and then won the championship the next year. Gets to Toronto, they make the final, and then they win the final the year after. That's exactly what we're looking for. A guy that can come in here with an established group of players. Again, we're not talking about a rebuild. With an established group of players that can make the jump immediately. Troy's got the track record of doing that, but he's also got a lot of talent here. So hopefully they can mesh together quickly.
Keeping Teeter and Richie on as assistants, was that Troy's decision? Was that your decision?
No, that was completely Troy's.
Okay.
We liked what Dan and Rich brought to the table, and they were two of the people that we had talked about for head coach. But when we decided to go with Troy, we let it be 100% to Troy, and Troy actually wanted Dan and Rich. And that he had mentioned that in his interview, that if he gets chosen, what were our thoughts to that? And, they're both great guys. They're both great coaches. Again, it's all you'll hear me talk about being a Bandit and how important it is. They've both been past Bandits, and that was great that he kept them both on board.
I know there's a couple of guys still with a couple of contract issues still got to re-sign.
I think it's just Billy D. As of now, we've decided to move away from Derek Sutton's.
Okay.
We made an offer, something that we thought was fair, and he's happy with his offer or where he wants to be. So we probably parted ways with him, and Billy D will get done. I'm not worried about that, but it's it's going to get done. It's it's rite of passage, I guess. First week in the camp and Billy's not dressed, but it'll happen.
And Stainer's still not approved to come back?
No, he's probably about 2 weeks away from being he had sports hernia surgery, so he's about 2 weeks away from getting cleared. He's out here running around and doing all things. He's just not clear for contact, but he'll be ready to go, I think, December 3rd.
How about JT? I saw him walking around. He's here. How is he? Is he ready to go?
Yeah, you know what? I think having the summer off is probably the healthiest he's ever been in the past 3 or 4 years coming into Bandits camp. Both calves are good. Everything feels good. He's 45, so I imagine he's hurting a little bit right now. But no, we're excited for Johnny. Going into the year, we have a plan. Probably not every game. See how it goes, but you never know.
Who do you think will step up and be the veteran leadership outside of John?
Well, we have a good group. Sean Williams, first and foremost, he was an assistant captain last year. And then I'm looking forward to guys like Mark Steinhausen and Billy D. Smith and Aaron Wilson. it's especially Mark and Billy. It's their time now. They've been a Bandits for a long time. They've had JT, they had Chris White. There's always been good leadership here. It's now their time to take the step forward. And Billy has taken a step today. He wasn't here last year when he wasn't signed the first weekend. He's here today. That shows me that he's ready to assume a leadership role.
Lastly, Dane Smith, what do you expect bigger and better things from him this year?
I do. Again, we got to bring back our jump for Dane, but 20-year-old kid last year, right? And he came in the league and he led us in goals. So Dane now has had a year playing with men under his belt. I think Troy's got him slated to go out the back door, which will probably give Dane a lot more opportunities, although he may not think it will. It'll give him more opportunities in unmanned situations. So, yeah, we think Dane's going to be the face of this franchise for the next 15 years. So, yeah, we're looking for big things.
That was one bright spot out of last year was Dane Smith and some of your other rookie class, Jordan Craig and Hayden Smith. Do you expect any other rookies to make an impact this year and maybe making the roster right away?
Well, you just brought up Critchie and Hayden. I thought they had a tremendous practice here today, and you can show or see from last year playing again in the summertime, playing against men for the first time. Yeah. They've definitely made a step up, but I look for a guy like Nick Diachenko and Mitch Wild. They were good here today. They've had a chance to play with some men, so they'll be okay. Then you look at guys like Dylan Goddard and Kevin Pym and Eric Penny were in the same boat that those other guys were in last year, first time against men. So I think Mitch and Nick are probably a little further ahead than those other guys to be able to make an immediate impact.
Mitch is kind of a player that kind of came under the radar and wasn't really that high in his draft stock and wound up being a 15th overall pick. You got a chance to see him in Kitchener in the summer. Was he on your radar before, or did he kind of come out of nowhere?
He was. Mitchie started, again, first time playing with men, maybe started a little slow for the Kodiaks, but got better as the year went on. And then, John Lovell, the guy that coaches Toronto, coaches the Kodiaks team, and at the end of the year, he couldn't take him out of the lineup. So Mitch was on our radar, and then the combine Mitch had, he was phenomenal in shape, ready to go. He became on everybody else's radar. So that's why we probably took Mitch maybe a little higher than I thought we were going to have to, but yeah, definitely Mitch was on our radar.
Okay. Switching Mitches, in some of the other moves you made with some of your more high-profile moves, one of them that got kind of lost in the midst was acquiring Mitch Jones. He was able to get into some games with the South last year and performed well for Victoria in the summer. Do you think he'll be able to play with his hockey commitments?
When he's done playing hockey this year, I think he's at Northern Michigan or Eastern Michigan or something like that. He's already committed that he'll be here at the end of the year. Again, if we want him to, he's another guy that probably last draft would have gone top end of the first round if it wasn't for his hockey commitment. So to be able to get a chance to get him, we're trying to get younger offensively. To me it was a steal for us. So Mitch will be able to go probably late part of the year.
All right, perfect. All right.
Good guys.
Thanks, Steve. Appreciate it.